All right, hello everyone. Welcome to kind of this first Brickworld Afterthoughts kind of podcast thing. I'm here in a Hangouts call with Adore Your Studios, X-Clone, we got Lego Buff Productions, and Brickwiz. And we just kind of got a list of things to go through for kind of Brickworld and everything that happened to Brickworld. And yeah, we'll just kind of see what happens through that. First time doing one of these, so we'll see what happens. First thing I kind of wanted to get into was, I know Xavier, you didn't bring a mock to Brickworld, so I don't know if this will obtain to you right away, but for everybody else, kind of, how did you prepare your mock for kind of Brickworld? When did you decide that you were going to go? And kind of, how did that all go together? We'll start with Doyer.
Alright, so I actually didn't prepare mine at all. Halfway through...
That's a great start. That's a great start.
Wow.
Okay, so halfway through building, my parents told me I could go to Brickworld. So I had to divide it into 3 separate sections and like put it on wooden planks and put it in the trunk of the car. But next time I'm definitely gonna make it that way it's separated by like 1 or 2 base plates using pegs.
All right, and Danny, since you were kind of, I don't know, were you in charge of like the whole Rebelug collab?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
how'd you go about that?
So not just the Rebelug collab, but the Rebelug display.
Yeah.
So planning for Brickworld begins for, at least for Rebelug, begins a year before. So we've already begun 2019 planning. We have our collab set and all of that kind of stuff, and we're beginning the work on the logistical details. But as you saw, because you displayed with us, we have like a spreadsheet, where people fill in their stuff, and we usually put that out sometime in the fall, so we start getting an idea, because there's a lot of logistical planning that goes, and a lot of people helping out with the planning that goes into putting on a display that large. In terms of mocks, though, the only mock I brought was my part for the Rebel collab, and then of course that Jesus mosaic that I brought, which I bring every year. That's easy because I just kind of throw that in my car and drive it over. And then my part for the collab this year was only 2 gray, so I didn't have to worry about separating it or anything. It was easy to just throw in a box and bring it over. But next year I'm planning on I'm working on a building series that'll release this coming week here. And it'll span a few years, but it's going to be several different mocks. And basically I'll bring whatever I have built from those next year in addition to my piece for the Rebel collab. So next year will be a lot more fun. In terms of figuring out how to bring a lot of Lego pieces.
Yes. And I refer to your mosaic as the Obi-Wan mosaic, but I get into that story later. So, Matt, what about you with your crate model?
Yeah, so this year was an experience for me because it was a lot of different things. So I guess I initially decided to go to Brickworld probably in January, although I believe it was only like maybe 2 months or so. Before Chris Productions asked if I wanted to display Rebelug, and then I got in contact with Danny, and then he kind of helped out with that. But yeah, ever since I kind of realized I wanted to do crate, one of my aims with crate was I wanted to be one of the first, if not the first, to have a sort of larger crate done. And I thought, Brickworld Chicago would be the prime convention to go to for that. And then in terms of displaying, this was my first time displaying anywhere. And then also it was a 13-hour drive from where I live in New Jersey. So packing for it was quite a journey. I had to saran wrap pretty much the mountains, the base wall, and then I was really lucky that all the base plates stacked up. They're all modular. Thankfully, not everything crumbled in the car. Only like the tip of the mountains kind of got destroyed along it. But it was just, I had to drive really slowly, obviously. I didn't want anything to break in the car. Because I honestly think if like the wall of the mountain crashed down in the car, I think I might have died a little bit inside. But it was a journey. It was definitely a lot of planning and kind of just a first time kind of thing. But overall, everything worked out in the end, so it was really fun.
Awesome. So I'm going to say, so for my friend and I that did our collab for the Clone Wars mock, we started kind of planning out the mock, I would say December when we kind of drew it up, and then started building it in January.
That's the real question.
Hello?
Yeah.
There you are.
Can you hear me? Okay, alright. My internet's pretty bad, so don't be surprised if it does it every once in a while.
Okay.
So I was saying, so for the collab between my friend and I for our Clone Wars thing, we started kind of planning it out in December, and then started building in January, and then we thought we had all the time in the world, but since we were both kind of seniors in high school, a lot of stuff happened, so we ended up building the village in 2 weeks, and that was like one of the most grinding things I've done for Lego, but it was still really, really fun. I imagine all you guys were grinding down to the last minute too.
Actually, surprisingly, I was actually done maybe like 2 weeks before.
I remember yours, like Danny. You guys were doing that your Rebel streams, right?
Yeah. So this has been a trend. 30 Rebel collab. We basically build the collab in a week before. This will not be the case for next year. That's why our collabs aren't always the greatest at the conventions. You know, it's something, but it's not where we want it to be at. But we decided to do for next year to kind of fix that problem of rushing at the end and not really putting out a nice collab. Is we are instead we do 2 online collabs every year, one in fall and one in spring, and we're going to be bringing all of the parts from the spring collab as our collab for Brickworld.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, so next year on the list, we'll just kind of talk about kind of meeting people at LEGO conventions from the community. Now, Adoyer and Matt, this was your first Brickworld, right?
First
Yes.
convention ever.
First convention. All right, sweet. Xavier, we'll start with you though. Kind of, what was it like meeting everybody again?
Dude, it was awesome. I wish I could have last year. I could have I wish I actually talked to you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because last year I went over and I only talked to Chris and a few people, and Danny was super busy because I think Danny, you didn't finish your mock in time, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it was go
there's
ahead.
also a lot of work that goes into overseeing everyone setting up, and then of course people have problems like, oh hey, this person's stuff is in my spot. I'm like, okay, I deal with that, organizing set traps, all that fun stuff.
I had trouble managing 6 people. I only imagine what you had to deal with this year.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I love it. That's what I live for. Obviously, I'm nowhere near the best builder in Rebelug, but I just love doing all the planning stuff.
Awesome.
That's nice.
So for your first convention ever, how was it there, Adoyer?
Pretty nice because I've been in hangout calls with a lot of the guys that I talked with before, but just meeting somebody in person, it's just completely different, and I don't know, because it just feels like that they're not a fake online friend, and that they're an actual person that you became friends with. And it was nice to meet new creators that I hadn't heard of, and now Matt, I've never talked to you before Brickworld, and now we talk a lot.
Yeah.
And then you get to meet all these other smaller channels you never hear about, and then you subscribe to them and you get another subscriber. So yeah.
Awesome. And then Matt, what about
Yeah,
you?
Aiden only goes so he can gain more subscribers.
Yeah.
I still haven't
And
subscribed to your
clones.
channel.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
no, go
going
ahead.
off of what you said, Aiden, it's seeing other Lego YouTubers or just other Lego builders in general in person is completely different than online. You can be in Hangouts calls or Skype calls or Discord calls or whatever with people for years, and that's how it was for me. I was talking to Chris and Spencer for years, and then Brickworld 2016 when we first met up, it was a complete oh hey, you're an actual person. I don't know. I highly recommend it for anyone on the fence of oh, should I go to convention? Definitely go and definitely display or at least buy the registration. You don't have to bring a mock if you don't want to, but it's just great being there on those private days to hang out with everybody.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. When was your first Brickworld then? Did you say 2016? Or
I think your internet's cutting out, Gab.
Yeah.
When was your first Brickworld, Danny?
It's
Yeah,
really
I can't hear anything. It's bits and pieces.
All right,
You
we
can
just
type
give
it in
a
the
moment.
chat if you have to.
Oh yeah, true.
All right, just tell me if I'm back or not.
Alright, wait.
You got a little bit.
Hey,
Making progress.
hey.
Poor Gavin.
Yeah. We can get a rip in the chat, please.
Yes, please.
Oh my god.
All right, I guess I'll continue off that question.
There we go.
Next. So I would consider myself somewhat kind of newer to the YouTube scene. I've only been on for maybe a little over a year and a half now. So when I first started doing YouTube, I watched a lot of guys like Solid Bricks. I even watched Danny and Chris for their Clone Wars stuff. That's what kind of got me moving along with mocks, and then just seeing everybody in real life. It's kind of like this weird thing when you see somebody on YouTube. It's like this mystical kind of thing about them. You're like, oh, this is a YouTuber. But then when you meet them, you're like, this is just a normal person who's cool. So I think that was probably the biggest thing, was meeting other YouTubers and people like M&R Productions, getting to talk with Spencer, and Elijah was also really, really nice and welcoming, which was really cool. But yeah, it was just to meet everybody in real life, people who I've seen in comments and stuff like that, was just super cool and something that I really can't explain too well. But I would just, again, urge people to go ahead and do the same thing.
Yeah, it's so easy, like on YouTube, like looking up, like, oh my gosh, like Solid Brick Studios has like hundreds of thousands more subscribers than me, and like anybody like Chris or whoever, like it's so easy to like idolize these people, like, oh my gosh, they're these huge giants. But then when you meet them, it's like, oh, they're just a regular person. They go to school too, like they have to deal with homework and relationships and all this other stuff. You know, it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. The first time, the very first person I recognized outside of Danny, because obviously I met you first when I initially like drove in. But the first time that I saw M&R Productions or Ryan, I was like, is that really him? And it wasn't like anything to diss him. Like, he's an awesome guy. We went to go out to eat, which was cool. We just hung out on the stream and stuff. So it was just weird seeing him. Like that's the guy from the videos. That's the guy from all the drop tests and the brick busters. And it was just really cool.
Awesome. Am I back now?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure. Cool.
So even if you guys can't hear me, my microphone will still pick me up. So
Oh god.
It was there for like a minute, and then it started cutting out again real hard.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh
like to
boy.
hear.
Just type it in the chat. There's the only way this is going to work.
Use Morse code. Actually, send smoke signals to look in the sky.
Yes, for sure. Also, Danny, that must have been really cool for you. What was the first Brickworld that like the whole kind of Rebel group went to? Like what year?
It was 2016. So this is year 3, and it's
Okay.
and so next year will be year 4. It's really cool though to see like how much we grow. I mean, the first year we had 6 members and 6 tables, and we barely even
my
filled.
God.
We had like 2 tables that we didn't even like fill. And so Connor brought a boat, and we just poured out water studs over 2 tables and put the boat in the middle to make it look like it was full. And then 2017, that was the first year that we invited like other people that weren't in Rebel to display with us, because we always want to get the community involved with us. Like, it's fun having all you guys there. It's just great to put all the YouTube people and stuff who know each other in one spot, so we can kind of hang out together. And form new friendships and stuff. So 2017 was the first year we did that. And then we had the Scarif collab / Chris's mock / Chris collab. Basically, yeah, the Chris collab. So I mean that year was probably, I mean, it was still a lot of fun. Like there can't be like a worst Brickworld, because they're a lot of fun, but that was probably the worst year because there's just a lot of problems we ran into. I don't think we were really ready to scale up that fast. We had 27 tables that year, I think, or 23 tables. So we went from 6 tables to 23 tables, which was like a huge thing. And we were just kind of like, oh, like it'll just be just like last year, you know, but definitely was not the case. So I think there was just a lot of growing pains with that. But this year we got it down. I mean, our collab was like mostly finished for that part. But I think the rest of the display came together really well. The set drafts and stuff went well. So, and then of course every year after Brickworld at our Rebelug meeting following Brickworld, we basically go over like, hey, what are some things you guys liked that we did, and what are things that you didn't like, things that went wrong. And so we kind of put together a list. We did that last year too, and we basically learned from our mistakes. So next year should be even bigger and better.
Yeah, that's crazy. How many tables were there this year?
35.
Damn, dude, that's a lot of space.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think we had one of the largest single like lug displays. I know NILTC, Northern Illinois Lego Train Club, has, I think, the largest great ball contraption, might have the largest.
Yeah.
But we're definitely up there in terms of like lug space.
Yeah, that was just a huge table. I mean, I remember looking at like the spreadsheet. I'm like, damn, there's like 13. How is this even gonna work? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure Danny's probably having a heart attack from this. And I mean, I think most of the space was filled up pretty well. So
Yeah, we got rid of one table, like, because Brian Bonahum, the guy who runs Brickworld, came by. We had to move. I mean, of course, it always happens every year that everyone requests more space than they actually always. So I always budget for less tables, but this year we had some people who asked for a lot of space and brought like Gabe Buster, Gabe, my cousin, he requested 5 tables.
What?
And his friend Jack also requested 5 tables.
Oh my
It's the whole
god.
ladle of display
And
right there.
and so Gabe only ended up bringing a table that filled up, or a mock that filled up half a table.
Oh my god, dude.
And he was planning this map, like he brought Umbara, but his vision was like this insane Umbara with like dry ice, like, and all this other like crazy stuff.
What?
And like,
Wait, ice on Umbara? What?
yeah, like, so he wanted like all this fog, and he was like, yeah, I don't want to bring a fog machine, so I'm gonna buy like dry ice. I'm gonna build like these tunnels that like the smoke will go like all this like crazy stuff. He's like, he's like, no one's ever done this in a mock. Like, I'm going all out. I mean, I knew there's no way he was gonna be able to pull it off. No offense though, but like, so he said 5 tables, so I budgeted like 2 tables for him because I thought, so we ended up, like I said, having to get rid of 1 table because Brian Bonhoon came by and was like, yeah, that table is completely blank. Get that out of here. Because he wants everything to look filled, so when the public comes, it looks nice. And then we had 2 tables that had like barely anything, kind of obnoxious.
Oh yeah, I saw those.
Yeah, so that was kind of pushed in the back. So next year we'll make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah.
We actually had somebody fail on us the last second, so we had like table space we needed to fill. So we built mocks at the convention to fill it.
Yeah, I mean, Rebel League's used to building mocks at the convention too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys are helping out Peter this year, which is really, I mean, he wasn't in Rebel League at the time, but now he is. He got voted in at Brickworld, which is really cool to see. It's a lot of fun seeing, people band together to help.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people did that with Scarif last year. There was a lot of people helping with that. The same at Brick Fair 2016 when David brought Kashyyyk. There was a lot of us there helping him set that up because he was underprepared to set up all of that. So,
Nice.
I mean, it's so hard. Like, it's hard enough to build a massive mock, but then it's like, oh, I'll just throw in a box and bring it to a convention. But like when you show up with it and you have to assemble the whole thing, it's like, oh man, I forgot how long this actually took me.
Yeah.
Is David even done with Is David even done with Crate yet?
I don't
No.
believe so. No.
I believe a couple of weeks ago he announced that he was going to take like a 3-week break. I think because he's doing stuff for his documentary.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
But I know he's going to be at Brick Fair, Virginia, and then I'm actually also trying to sell one of my walkers because we both use the same walker, so I'm probably going to sell him one because after Virginia, my crate's done. But he said he's going to try and bring Scarif, which would be really cool.
Yeah, I saw that. I was watching Ryan's podcast. He said,
Oh, yeah.
Scarif. And then I didn't even realize he still has Kashyyyk packed up. I mean, he's not going to bring it, but.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he didn't take apart Kashyyyk. He still has it in the crates.
Yeah, I think he said on the video, I think he said on the podcast, he has like the trees and like the mountain or like the back mountain or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be crazy. I would love to see that thing in person, but that must be such a pain in the ass to haul somewhere.
I just remember him showing up with Javier in the crates, and we're like, oh man. And then they like unloaded it, and then David was like, oh shoot, like I did not anticipate having this. So then there was like an army of like 20 kids around the table 24/7 helping him put it together, which is, again, like I said, really cool to see people band together. That's the cool thing about Lego conventions is like everyone puts aside their differences for those 5 days or whatever it is and just has a great time. Like political differences, religious, whatever it is, like people just put that all aside so they can come together, help each other out, build with mocks. I've rarely ever do I hear of theft. Usually it's from like the vendors. Like someone will try stealing. Like I know someone tried stealing from CAC last year. They got caught at Brickworld. But that, like I've never heard of someone stealing off of a mock because like we have thousands of dollars worth of plastic and everyone there knows it.
Oh yeah,
knows what the stuff's worth. It would be so easy to walk by and like pick up figs or pick off like a whole tower or whatever. And,
yeah, here, let me take a 1x2 plate.
yeah, like that just doesn't happen, which is so awesome to see.
Also, people have drama like before Brickworld, like they just put it aside.
Yeah,
I did
like,
not hear any
Anybody
drama.
specifically?
Like
Um,
Ryan and Tyler. And,
He may or may not be in this chat. Let's just say that.
Oof.
is Gavin alive?
Yeah, am I alive now?
Yeah.
Oh,
All
you're
right,
good.
hell
Okay,
yeah, that's
cool.
what I like to hear. All right, so what favorite part of Brickworld, like in general, and then specific moments.
Oh
Of
my
this year.
gosh, it's so hard.
Oh
Uh,
boy,
Yeah,
it's a
tough
question.
one.
Who wants to start that one?
Yeah, who wants to start it?
I
need
think
to
Xavier should start it.
yeah,
Yes.
this-
No,
He
no,
was
no.
there the longest.
All right, Xavier, on the spot. Let's get it done.
Okay, my favorite part of Brickworld was just like meeting everybody. You guys all legit. Gavin, you're f***ing tall. Like you're like the tallest person there.
I when I first met Gavin, he's like, "Yo, I'm Gavin." I'm like, "Okay, I'm Matt." I'm literally looking up. My eyes compared to the ground is like a 90-degree angle straight up, and I'm like, "Holy Jesus!"
Oh man.
I'm
That was awesome.
14 and 6 feet tall, so only you and Jay made me feel.
Jay's big too.
Oh,
Oh yeah, you were pretty tall. I
Yeah.
thought you were older, Aiden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 36 and I'm like 16.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I didn't even really get to meet Xavier, which I was kind of sad about. Like I know you gave, like I saw you like give like Jay, I think like the bag of like figs you got us, but I didn't really like get a
Yeah.
chance to talk to you. So I definitely gotta do that sometime in the next conventions.
yeah.
You got a display next year, Xavier.
I know I
Yeah.
got a display next year. But like clone bases are gonna be making a big comeback, so that's gonna be pretty cool.
I like how we're already off topic.
That's what podcasts are for, getting off.
Yes, honestly.
Yeah, okay, so back to Brickworld. I'll go next. So favorite part, Oh, there's so many to choose from. So I would say one of my favorite moments was, I forget who this was. This was, I don't think they were at our display. I think I was just walking around the convention hall, and I was like looking at some mock, and it was someone else who was on YouTube. And they were like filming a vlog or something when I walked by. And they're like, "Oh, hey, it's Danny from Rebel Lug." And like that was the first time that I was recognized as Danny from Rebel Lug and not Danny from Lego Buff Productions. And for me, that was just such a cool moment because like we've been working for years on Rebel Lug, just getting exposure and just kind of putting the name out there and all that stuff. And to finally like be recognized as someone from that organization was just like a really cool moment for me, instead of just as my YouTube channel. So that was something really exciting. But I mean, like Xavier said, like meeting everybody and just the level of how far we're into the hobby.
Yeah.
So it's cool to be with those people, you know, for half a week or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was funny about that is that
Like a,
I went there last minute. So I went to Brickworld like Sunday
Mm-hmm.
because like Ryan was just like, "You need to come."
Yeah. Yeah, we were really Xavier. You are the glue that keeps Rebel Lug together. I mean,
What? No.
you constantly come up in conversations. Last year, you were the theme song of Rebel Lug. X-Clone Give It to You. I mean, like it does. I remember every day we would drive to the convention. We put that song on as we were pulling up, and Chris would just blare out "X-Clone Give It to You," not the real lyrics. Your lyrics.
Oh man.
Alright, so I guess I'll go next. So the favorite like specific part of Brickworld for me was definitely the Beyond the Brick interview. I had been watching them for the longest time, and when I got to meet them, they were super cool. I also voice cracked like 7 times on camera, but
yeah.
somehow they only limited it to like 1 or 2 in the video, so that was like a godsend for me. But that was really cool. I love talking about whatever I make, and especially with a channel of that magnitude having such exposure to the community. Like I've definitely seen a pretty decent boost in my growth ever since that video, which is awesome. And then I guess like a more general thing about Brickworld was meeting fans, people who watch my channel. I honestly didn't think I would run into anybody because I still am not really a bigger YouTuber, but I think I met probably like 24 people who are outside of like other YouTubers and like people who were just displaying with us. It was like genuine fans like coming in public days asking, "Oh, are you Matt from, like the Brickwiz? Like, is this your crate?" That was probably the coolest thing, getting to talk with fans. I got to take some pictures with some of them, appear on some of their videos, which is cool. And that was in itself very humbling. And I think that's the thing that's going to keep me going with YouTube for sure, is just meeting other people who watch the channel and kind of look forward to my content.
Awesome. Adoyer, you got one?
I have a couple, but I'll just pick one. Meeting, like, I'm probably the smallest YouTuber here out of all of you guys. So having people actually recognize me from YouTube like for only having 900 subscribers and showing my face once in a video, it's pretty crazy. Like a kid came up to me and asked to take a picture, and it was like what you said, Matt, humbling, because I realized that like people actually like care about what I do, and that's what's gonna help me going on YouTube too.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
I would say one of the cooler parts was a little kid came up and the look on his face was just like an awe, and he said that Danny will like this too. He said that our mock and everybody else's, like Rebel Lug as a group, he said it was like the biggest inspiration for him, and that was kind of just like that was just awesome. Like it tugs at the emotional strings.
Yeah. Actually, I guess while we're on the topic, I would like to change the general one to people asking themselves and then asking me why they saw Darth Maul and the Boba Fett on Crate and Lando, and then all them. I literally heard probably maybe a dozen people go, "This is not accurate. This is not canon," and I literally facepalmed myself so hard. There were so many kids who were like, "That's not right. What is he doing there?" And I had to be like, "Oh, this is from the video game," and it was just a mess. But that was really funny though.
Xavier, we're getting some feedback.
Yeah.
Like
Echo.
echo.
Fives?
Xavier,
Yeah.
we're getting some feedback from you. We're hearing ourselves twice.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, but as you guys were saying, like, just talking, hearing from people, like, oh man, like, this inspires me or whatever. But the big thing for me, too, is not just the kid. It's really cool to see, like, a group of, like, teenagers or people in their early 20s or whatever, like, into Lego and doing this kind of stuff, you know? I feel like the majority of conventions are either, like, really young kids that, like, their parents bring them, bring their builds or whatever, or very, like, older crowd AFOLs, you know?
Yeah.
Like when I hear the term AFOL, I think of like late 30s, early 40s type people. You know, it's really just like the people who are around us, and then like a Nova Lug and Beta Lug who were there that were kind of our age, which is just really cool to see, because this is like the prime age, the dark age. You know, dark ages because of high school ending for people and college starting. There's just a lot on our plates that we're still able to do the hobby. Is really cool to see.
Yeah, so it's good to have a young presence in Lego. Like when I hear AFOL, I think of really old guy who's kind of weird and likes trains. And then going here and like having our area our like immediate area surrounded by other kids who are teenagers, high schoolers, kids in college who are young, who also like to do stuff outside of Lego, which is also really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the fact that we're like kind of the new up and comers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like we're the next generation of AFOLs.
Yeah, and it's gonna be good because I don't think we're gonna have an excess of trains and castles. Like we're gonna have other stuff. Not the diss, and because like that stuff's impressive. Like no matter what you make, it's impressive. I don't care. Like if it's a giant friends town and it's cool, like I'll respect it. I'll appreciate it. But I like it. I like it that our new kind of generation who is really active on social media is going to be those new AFOLs coming like 10 20 years, so that's always exciting to look forward to.
Yeah. Matt, that's a really good segue, bro, because we got impact on kind of how social media and these Lego conventions kind of help build the community as a whole.
Sweet.
So
it's almost like I had a list of what we're going to talk about.
I don't know. Unless anybody had something else to add for the last topic there.
No, I don't think so.
All right. So
impact
who wants to go first here?
I mean, I would say having a pre-existing relationship over social media like YouTube and Instagram is definitely really important. But I honestly, that's a pretty deep question.
It's a deep one.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of. I don't mean bringing up Rebel Lug, but I just can't help it. I'm sorry. This is kind of like one of the reasons we created Rebel Lug as like a way for us to stay in contact. Because like, being quite honest, like Rebel Lug is probably the sole reason that I've stayed away from my dark ages. Because it would have been so easy to like stuff's getting busy with school and stuff. Like, oh, I don't have time for Lego. Like I'll build a mock in the summer, and then summer comes along, and then work kicks in and all that stuff. You know, it's so easy to just keep pushing it off. But Rebel Lug, like, there's discussion going on every day to like Lego stuff, and sometimes not Lego stuff, which is perfectly fine. But Xavier, we're getting more feedback again.
Yeah, just mute your mic, I guess, and then when we go to you can unmute it and talk.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, so like Rebelug is the sole reason I stay on my Dark Age, because there's constantly Lego discussion going on there. People are posting work in progresses, like doing collabs, like having that stuff in the back of my head, like, oh, I got to think about what I'm going to build for a collab, all that kind of stuff. Like it's so cool to see it all come together. And like there's so many other lugs out there now too, like whether they're recognized or not. Like Aiden here's Beta Lug, you know, like you can definitely join one if you want, if there's not one in your area that you want to join, or you can join one online, whatever. There's definitely opportunities for you out there. And I recommend that to everybody, because it's having that official like organization and other people there that are talking about the hobby that really keeps you interested in it.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Actually, a question for you, Danny. It's kind of a little bit off topic, but are you going to try and get some more of your overseas Rebel Lug members to get to Brickworld Chicago?
Yes, that is next year. We have they've been talking about it for a while, but if you've ever been to Europe or anywhere, you probably know that plane tickets are incredibly expensive.
Yes.
So ever since like 2016, they've been talking about it, but next year is the year. We have, I think right now, like 5 confirmed people from Europe coming in. Nice. So they decided like they would wait and all do it together type thing. So and possibly more than 5. So we'll see. And then of course everyone in the US probably more than usual. So it's going to be a lot of fun next year.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of next year's space is just going to be like
50
tables.
So we're thinking about splitting it up possibly, because I was talking a lot with Aiden, and we're kind of throwing out a few different ideas whether we want to do, because I think there's a few other like Instagram Star Wars lugs going next year besides just Rebel Lug and Beta Lug. So we kind of wanted to figure out a way to get us all together, because it's going to get to the point, and this will probably be the case next year, that we're just too big. Like Brickworld won't let us all display together. Like I won't be able to request like 60 tables in one long island, because just the way they structure the table layouts, they just can't do that for like fire safety and all that stuff. So we're gonna try to work it out where we can get like a section like of the convention hall basically. So it'd be like maybe like 3 peninsulas or whatever together, or 3 islands together, like in the same area. So kind of like how Beta Lug was right next to us. This would be a similar thing, except like much larger area. So it'd be like Rebel Lug, Beta Lug, whatever other lugs are coming, and then it could be like all the other people too, or we include them in ours. We still got to figure all that out.
Are other lugs coming?
Yeah, I thought Phoenix Squadron or...
Oh yeah, they're displaying.
Yeah. We'll see what we do with that. We're not sure yet, but
that's
what I'm saying. There's a lot that goes into what I was talking about earlier. There's a lot that goes into these displays, which is why we have to start planning so early.
I've never used a calculator more in my life than to figure out how much table space I need.
There's a lot of Google Sheets and docs that go on for Brickworld, at least for Rebel. Like we have that big one for display space, but just for like collabs and all that stuff, like there's a lot of that popping up.
Xavier, you got anything to add, my dude?
Nope.
That's why I invited you on here, bro. That's why we invited you. All right, final thoughts, anybody?
I just think that conventions like Brickworld Chicago definitely improve upon relationships that are initially built on social media. So I guess that's kind of my thoughts about it.
All right, everyone. Anyone else got anything, or?
No, I think that
all good.
Sums it up.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see if you guys like this stuff. Maybe we'll do more in the future. I think it went pretty well, besides my internet. So yeah. See you guys later. May the force be with you.
Yep.